Time for Mr. Truck, reviewing the latest innovations for your truck and trailer.
Mr. Truck here with a new segment. This is a whole new edition we're trying out here with a new staff member we have. We're really happy to introduce Dan Atkinson.
Hello, welcome back to Mr. Truck. My name's Daniel, and today we're going to be learning about how to shift a 13-speed transmission, actually a big truck transmission in general, and we're going to focus pretty heavily on how to float. Not everyone's actually got a double clutch. By double clutch, that's basically where you push a gear in, and you're actually going in and out to another gear. Not everyone does that. It's actually after a long time, your leg kind of gets worn out, and it's just a lot nicer to float. So we're going to get started today. We're going to get into the clutch brake. At the end of every clutch in a semi-truck, there's something called the clutch brake. And that actually allows you to go into gear really nice. Because if you don't, well, we bring it back up, or come down. Otherwise, you hear that grinding? That's really not awesome. That actually kind of hurts my soul a little bit. Yeah. Not enough clutch. So you go down to the bottom, you hold it, you count for a couple of seconds, and it goes bam, beautiful right in. It's good to go. So let's go ahead. We got our clutch in. Now once you actually get to that clutch brake, come back a little bit because you don't want to wear out that clutch brake. Because if you wear it out, guess what? You need a new clutch. Very, very, very expensive.
Mr. Truck here with the latest and greatest in trailer accessory review. This time it's shocker hitch. They've got an airbag cushion for your gooseneck, an airbag cushion for your bumper pole. Isolates the truck from the trailer. Great products. You know, the truck and trailer almost joined together. That ball's pretty solid, so you get to feel each other. But you want to isolate that. You don't really want to drive in the truck and feel what the trailer's feeling. Your horses probably don't want to feel what your truck's doing. This way they're separate. And it makes them ride better, makes it quieter, makes a better cushion between the two. And you know, you're talking about living quarters and all those things that go on the front of a horse trailer, you know, with the glued in cabinets and the mirrors and all.
So, we get going. We got a little bit of a load on today, and we are on a garbage road. Look at all them potholes. That's what happens with snow. After a while, the road doesn't get took care of or anything else like that. Wait. You make a left-hander. I believe. We're going to go a little to the right so we can actually see both directions. Now when I get to the light here, I'm going to hold back halfway on the clutch. So I'm not in the clutch brake itself, but so I'm also ready to rock and roll. Alright, oh, one car. Almost ready for the next one. Kind of well, dang it. So, I'm gonna hold up a little bit of brake. Just like driving a regular pickup truck. Go ahead, let that clutch out. But now my foot goes off to the left of that clutch. I ain't touching it. So, 1, 2. You get your rhythm. Every transmission is just a little bit different. On this one, you get it up. 1, 2. This one's a little bit longer as you get in. When you drive and you start trying to float, you actually learn your transmission. So now we're in 5 on the low side, and this is how we split it right here with that little red button. You got your low and your high. But we haven't gone to the next gear yet because I haven't let off the throttle. Push back in the throttle, and we are now in 5 high or 6th gear. So down the road we go. Now I'm not going to shift up because I know I've got a road here at the other end. I got to make a right-hander onto. And I'm not exactly sure when it's coming up, but I know it's coming up pretty soon. We're doing about 30 right now, which you can see, hopefully right here. Oh, here we go. Flip the throttle. Alright. Push the clutch in. Time for that right-hander. Okay, to our left. All right, let's rock and roll. Not a whole lot. So what you got to do is when you're first learning, don't pay attention to the actual speedometer. Just pay attention to your tachometer, because when you look, you get up. In this case, we're right around 1800. Now we're down in about 1400. You lose about 400 RPM once it's all said and done. But once you drop down to about 300, that's really where, I've got to come to a stop. That's really where you want to start putting it back in gear. Now, we're sitting out of traffic. Oh, look, we got a green arrow. Now, did you hear that little bit of grind? Did not give enough time for it to put in gear. All right. Let's boogie. Now I'm giving that little bit of throttle. Let off. Take the pressure off the gears. Put it in. Now if you miss it, that's okay. Just get that little bit of throttle and you rev match it. So you rev match it, you put it back in gear. Now on the high side, you've actually got the little red button. Now the RPMs are going to drop 200. So 19. Back in around about 17, and with the speed drop, everything else, it winds up being about 3. All right, let's go northbound. Jake brake. Oh, love me a Jake brake. It's one of the most beautiful noises a truck can make. At least that's my opinion. So, when you're driving along, you don't want to rest your hand on the gear shift, because there's a bushing down in the transmission, right where it goes inside there. There's a ball that it pivots off of. And there's a little bushing is right there. Alright, slow down just that little bit here. Humming. I who's doing away. Alright, let's get going. Power, boost. Lego my ego. Let out. Go back in. Let's get right up to speed. We can talk some more. Ooh, missed it just that little bit. Again, not a big deal. Give that little bit of throttle. Rev match it. Just that light amount of pressure on the back. Let's put that in half a gear and let's disappear. Now, when you're getting back in on the throttle, right here, you can actually see this is the boost gauge and this is the pyrometer. These are two gauges that you're absolutely going to want to have when you're driving. Because a pyro, you can see just how much power you're actually putting in. And the boost gauge, well, the lower the boost that you can get to do a job, the more fuel efficient you're going to be. Now, when you're in on the throttle, now we're down about 0 right now. I'm off throttle. So I start coming into that throttle just that little bit. I ease in. Wait till around about 10 psi or so, and then I really start giving it the bean, because if you don't do that, the turbo does not have enough time to spool up, and therefore you actually start blowing out a little bit of that black smoke. Black smoke means unburnt, it's not fully burnt fuel, and that's money out the pipe. Again, no bueno. So, alright, speed 65 through here, we're only doing about 60. So let's get in that big hole. We're going to be around about 1400 RPM, set the cruise control. Oh, that's good enough. 65 miles per hour. Now we can start talking about a couple things. Don't rest your hand on the gear shift like I was saying before. There's a bushing down there. And that bushing will wear out. Now right now it's pretty good and tight, but there's times where it's like whoa, 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 whoa. And it's still in gear. Imagine being in neutral, and you're in your imagine in your regular old car and you're in neutral, so you go ahead and wiggle it back and forth, and there's a lot of motion there. Now imagine you go ahead and you put it in gear, and there's the exact same amount of motion. It feels like you got a box full of neutrals. Well, that's because people rest their hands on here and they wear that bushing out. We got about 386,000 miles on this tractor, and it's actually still pretty good and tight, because I subscribe to the idea that you don't put this on there. It's actually a tip that was given to me by a friend of mine who works on trucks for a living, or at least he used to in any case. And so from his mouth to my ears, now from my mouth to y'all's ears. Now, going up the hill, you can hear just that little bit of that boost coming on. Now, just because you're on cruise control doesn't mean that it's going to apply the throttle any better. Sometimes when you're in the rolling hills, you actually want to give it just that little bit of throttle before the cruise control starts to kick back in, so that way you can get your boost up just that little bit so that it doesn't blow a ton of black smoke. Alright, so at about 1.5 miles, we're going to be merging on to another highway. Now once you get on the highway, there's not a whole lot of shifting that happens, but for the sake of this video, we're gonna. So let's just say we're going to start climbing a hill soon, or we're going to be going down a gear, down a stretch. So we'll come off of cruise control, put the throttle up, and that'll put me into that next lower gear. So when you're going into the higher gear, your RPM can fall down into the next gear. But when you're downshifting, well, you've got to go ahead. Now, we're currently in 8 low, and we're going to go into 7 high. So that's 13, 12. Now we're going to go down to 11. So high up, Jake brake. Right now we're roughly around about 1800 RPM after that little bit of jake. The reason why you go higher in the RPM is the higher the RPM you are, the closer to the governed speed of the engine, the better that jake brake works. And there's actually 3 different levels in this truck. So we've got high, medium, and low. So it's 2 cylinders. 4 cylinders, and all 6. Got a nice little button on the steering wheel here that I can turn it on and off. Now there are some that actually sell a little switch here where it say everything's on the dash and you don't want to reach forward here, or it's just easy just to hit a little button, and you can have a little button to turn your jake on and off. You can still have to do everything there. Let's go. Ooh, look at that. Bear's behind us. So, merge on in. Let off. Into gear. Let the turn signal on. We're going to look in our spot mirrors. Down the low. Main mirror. We're good to go. 55 miles per hour. So let's not go too much faster than that. Alright. Look at that, it was a medic then. So let's go over one more lane because we got to get on this exit in about 2 miles. So we're just going to go ahead and get where we need to get to. We're going to chill out right here in this second lane. Besides, there's a sign right there that says trucks prohibited from the left 2 lanes. Or as one of my favorite movies has to say, prohibidado. I don't know how much more clear I could have made it. I said it in Spanish. So we're just going to cruise down the road just for this little bit here. We got a little bit of a load on, not extremely heavy, but it's a load nonetheless. So we're cruising. We're currently in Massachusetts, and look at all those pretty fall colors. Woo, man! See all the traffic over on the other side? Yep, they're looking at the pretty colors. Me, I got to go. Alright, we are southbound towards Providence. Alright, now in the signs, you can actually see we're lane 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in lane 3. So the one to the right of us is lane 4. So lane 3 and 4 will actually go into the southbound, where we can continue straight on in lanes 1, 2, and 3 if we so desire. But we're not going to. And if my memory of the interstate and traveling it before is anything, that's going to be a loop. So, look at traffic coming up ahead of us. Woo! Yeah, that's bad. That's bad in fact. Alright. my turn signal on. Yay! They let me over! Woohoo! Alright. Control my speed coming down this little bit of a small little stretch. There we go. Full brake. He's coming down, loading up and cooking. We're gonna do what they say can't be done. Alright, got a curve. Now, you don't have to use that little thing every time. So now we're down about 1200. Now, we went down one whole thing. We came right back in around about 1700. Now we don't want to go too fast with the load down because we don't want the load to shift. They did load it up a little on the high side in the back of the trailer. And you just get that feeling while you're towing it that you just need to give it just that little bit of ease. So, let's go my ego. Let's get going. Alright, now, you see people going around and it's like, so let's turn that off. We can shift it a little bit easier. Not going anywhere near fast enough to warrant being in that left lane. Woo! Well, thank you for that. Alright, got some brake lights up ahead. Let's just kind of back off. Let's not get on everyone's butt. Alright, we're going to ease on back. We're looking ahead. When you're driving down the road, you definitely want to be looking ahead. You want a good amount of distance, rough guideline, if you got something like this, you want about 7 seconds worth of room. So we're actually kind of good to go. We're just kind of bottling up there. They're definitely racing today. Sometimes I forget to turn the Jake brake off, and that makes me seem like I can't shift worth a hill of beans. So it is a 65-mile-an-hour speed limit. Now when we look, we want to look about 10 to 15 seconds ahead. We want to scan the road, but we want to look up there just for that little bit, but we also want to check what's going on around us, because at any moment, any time, anything can happen. Alright, some more brake lights up ahead. Backing on down, backing on down. So the camera can see it. I'm not used to these cameras in here. Alright. Now we can turn that Jake off. We're cruising. Now if we leave something like this in front of us, it's pretty much a guarantee that we're going to find somebody directly up ahead of us. They're going to come in, they're going to take that. So the key is you gotta be just that little bit aggressive. You gotta be that aggressive but defensive all at the same time. So you gotta try to protect it just that little bit, otherwise you're just gonna wind up falling back in the pack. At least if you're trying to get anywhere, if you got any kind of place to be. So we're gonna ease on back. Operating range is basically from 1200 RPM to 1600 RPM. That's where it makes it the most amount of power. But with that said, you want to be absolutely brutal on the power, around about 1400 is where it starts really coming in hot and strong. So, keep it around about 14. If you're trying to climb something and you want all that air to go in and not absolutely melt down the pistons, keep your RPM high so you can feed as much air into that system as possible. Make a lot of power. Absolutely. get back on the throttle. Now when I'm actually going from one hole to the next, I'm actually putting that little bit of pressure on the actual stick itself while I'm actually doing that. So this is downshift just to show. So a little bit of pressure. Get ready with the red button. Flip the throttle, and we're back in. I'm going to show that again, going down. Moving it down into the next gear because we're going from the high side of 7 to the low side of 8. So just that little bit of thing there. And it's kind of a feel. You will, once you actually start to do it, you'll get it. You will definitely get it. But you got a whole lot of nothing going on. Go back in the big hole and cruise at about 1400 RPM. Alright. So about 1400 RPM with a 0.73 to 1 gear ratio on the high side for the double overdrive, because there's 2 overdrive gears, a 0.86 to 1 and a 0.73 to 1. Whereas 7 high or 11 is 1 to 1. So direct, single, double over. So 1400 RPM with a 0.73 to 1 overdrive with a 3.42 to 1 gear ratio in the rear ends with a, what's it called, a 39.5 inch tall tire. Anyone know what speed that is? Alright, that would be 65 miles per hour. I'm sure there might be like 1 or 2 RPM off, but basically 1,465 miles per hour. Ironically enough, a lot of the newer heavy-duty diesel pickup trucks, they're actually going to a 342 gear. So basically, I'm a heavy-duty Dodge. I'm sorry, no, they're Ram now. So I'm a heavy-duty Ram or a heavy-duty Chevrolet. Either one. They're still rolling 342s. All right. Brake lights. Get ready. Kick it. All right. So sometimes you gotta get really slow, really fast. I'll left foot brake it, flip the throttle to get each gear to get maximum braking. Now, thankfully, on the dash here, there's a little orange light that tells me the jig is on. Initially, it was right here where this optional switch is, but I moved them around so I can see this a little bit better. It's a lot nicer. Especially when we get traffic stopped like this. You always have got to watch out for someone that's just going to pop out in the middle of nowhere. So you don't want to be going too fast, but you don't want to go so slow that the entire right-hand lane gets in there. It's really that balancing act. You want to be defensive, but in this neck of the woods, you need to absolutely be a little bit aggressive. You get towards New York City, watch out, because I'm telling you, you leave a half an inch, they'll put a Suburban in it. It's nuts, I know. Now, in order to go from the high side down to the low side, the side splitter has absolutely got to be back here in the low side. Absolutely has to. Don't remember if I said that or not before, but got it again. Alright. Well, folks, I think that's going to about do it for today. If you have any questions at all, please put them in the comments. I will be more than glad to get to them. Alright. if you like what you saw today, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button, and would be even more grateful to you if you were to hit that subscribe button. Stuff like that kind of helps the channel grow, helps pay bills, this, that, and everything else. And I like paying bills. It means I don't get stuff took away. It's nice. Alright, folks. Y'all have yourself a good day. Be safe, and we'll catch you on the flip. Bye-bye.